Fighting Gengar is unlike fighting the rest of the cast. The only thing that matters is not letting it get burst mode on set point. If your breaks in, Yveltal is super helpful here. For other characters that don't need a particular support, Umbreon is helpful for avoiding mix-ups and draining Gengar's synergy gauge. Otherwise, I suggest Rotom to stop dual phase flies, which are otherwise very difficult to anti-air. Gengar's field phase is not very forcing in a vacuum, but it has some options that nullify many other field approaches. It is also dangerous to fight up close because it can phase through many attacks. Let's go over these options. Gengar's homing attack avoids highs and mid-highs frame 1, which causes all kinds of problems. All kinds. If your side Y or neutral Y has a cancel that can stuff out or make you safe from homing, experiment with that. Otherwise, try to stick to moves that it cannot home under when it is at range that it can react. It's still okay to poke with those moves occasionally when they can't immediately react. Just be aware when they can. Gengar's homing also anti-air, so try not to jump too close to it. The downside to using projectiles that are mids or have large hitboxes that stuff homing is that they usually have slow startups. This means they can get hit by random shadow punches. This move cannot consistently be sidestepped, but when you see the initial punch, forward dash. You even have enough time to forward dash and do your own forward Y depending on the character. Do not CADC because when this move is charged fully, the move pierces. The idea is to get Gengar frustrated from getting their homing stuffed out, so they start throwing out shadow punches, bait and whiff punish. Jumping Y tracks and can be charged to multiple levels to lock you down. Don't be too intimidated, however. Rotom will stun Gengar out of the air, and it is also susceptible to high priority projectiles. Release X is very powerful up close, and for the most part, just let it rock because it can't cancel into a grab out of this. Dual Phase allows for some better potential punishes. Forward Y isn't usually used point blank, but it is minus 12 on block. Back Y has a really weird animation, but it's minus 16 on block. It does have invincibility to lows frame 9 though, if that ever... Charge Shadow Ball absorbs a ridiculous amount of projectiles. While it's setting up, you have time to close the gap. To maintain this shield, it has to keep charging the whole thing, leaving it vulnerable to jumps. Also, projectile invincible moves and armored attacks are very useful here. Gengar's low HP makes it seem like an easy target in dual phase, but that is not quite the case. Here it has access to even more moves with invulnerability frames. Let's break down how to deal with them. 5X and 6X are strong attacks online because they can go through your own moves, but they do not actually gain invincibility until frame 5, meaning a well-timed meaty, which is hard to do with input delay online, will completely stuff these out. Astonish cancel is at least minus 12 on block, but most people don't realize this and just let it rock. Do not let it rock. Make sure when you see Gengar jump, Rotom that crap immediately. Jump Y is one of the most obnoxious attacks in the game. Plus on block, extremely fast startup, cancelable into Astonish, and air to air it leads to a full combo. A lot of Gengar players don't even really know the meaning of neutral, so they just do random jumping Ys and 5X's and 6X's and hope something's going to hit. But if you're looking out for those moves, then you can punish them. Release X on block can be cancelled into a backwards duck, but it is usually cancelled into jump. Now you can get fancy and try to preemptively anti-air this jump back for a full combo, or just visually confirm the jump and Rotom it before it can do anything too fancy on the way down. Curse is another really dangerous move. It is invincibility frame 9 and does recoil damage to itself. That is key because when Gengar is close to getting burst, it is going to start spamming that. The move is technically minus 8 on block, but if you have an armored low stance, you can absorb the end of this to get a clean punish on it. Only the last hit has hit stun, but if you block the first hit, then the entire sequence is a true block string. So other characters can hop over it to get a punish since all the hits are also lows. 8Y is minus 12 on block and is frame 1 air invincible and frame 5 invincible to everything, so have your meaties on point and punish this on block. Burst Gengar is the best character in the game, no question about it. There are limited things you can do, but here are a couple tricks. When Gengar is charging 5X, neutral jump over it and punish on the way down since it cannot cancel. Gengar surprisingly has a tough time stopping cross-ups on reaction in burst mode. Its 8Y is more damaging, but it is way worse as an anti-air. 8X is a cheap get-out-of-jail-free card, you just kinda gotta let it rock unless you pack Rotom, in which case when Gengar bursts up in dual phase, immediately pop Rotom. 2X counts as a low, can be low stamps or jumped over, but it is pretty quick. And that's it. Next caller.